we're sitting there talking one night and drinking, and then I was like, dude, like, I love how we vibe. Like, I think you and Jasmine seem to really take it off, hit it off really well. Like, I wonder if there's a way that we could talk about broaching the topic of doing like an MFM threesome.
Yeah.
Um,
All right. Welcome. I am Lupe. This is STAGVIEW. And who do I have here with me?
I am JR Cruz,
Mr. JR Cruz.
aka Mr. Sexy Buns.
Mr. Sexy Buns.
Yes, sir.
Listen, Mr. Sexy Buns, the first time I saw your sexy buns was at Exotica when you were running around with an apron.
Yes, sir.
With no back.
Yep.
I was like, this man is out here living his best life.
Absolutely. Well, it's a great little icebreaker too for meeting folks. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you got somebody that, see people slapping stickers on a dude's ass. I mean,
You had a lot of stickers on your ass.
yeah.
I was like, yo, my man is out here. I love it.
Yeah.
But it does, it makes you stand out.
Yeah.
And like, I think that when it comes to content and the industry, I think that is one of the best parts about it is the fact that you found a way to stand out.
Yeah.
Like, period. And I think you had so many people come up to you, talking to you, and just
Yeah.
interacting with you because of how you stand out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it has to do, like, we love making people smile, make people laugh. It's all about having fun in this. Because if you're not having fun, what's the point?
I mean, I 110% agree with you on that.
I mean, granted, it's nice to get paid too, but there are, let's say there's two very important factors in this business.
Fun and getting paid.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of that, let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
So, like, a lot of people, when they start this industry, I don't think they really understand how much business goes into it. They see the fun.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a common thing is that you see the fun, but you don't see the business. Like, you don't see the work that goes into it. You don't see the editing, the promotion. Like, I kind of try to explain to people, like, how do I sell something that's free already?
Yeah.
Like, we're already in such a saturated market that it's really hard if you don't have something that stands out to be profitable.
Absolutely.
Like, people seem to think that, like, a porn is free. I'm like, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
So how do I make money in something that's free? You go get a job where it's free, and you're trying to make money in a free market.
Yeah.
Like, it's really hard, and it's something that I think a lot of people underestimate how much effort it truly takes to be successful.
Totally.
In this, you know what I mean?
Well, like, I mean, OnlyFans, when they started the whole thing, I think that they realized that there was something missing. Like, you actually get to interact with, like, you can even, like, we have people that will order customs from us or whatever, and, like, you can't do that with, say, one of these big name folks. I mean, Asa Akira isn't taking requests.
Facts. Facts.
Like, I mean, maybe she is now, but
I mean, we barely take requests now, so
yeah.
Like, I ain't gonna lie, the bigger you get, the harder it gets. You get a lot of requests.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I mean, I feel like sometimes those requests be outlandish. Like, some of the customs, like, we had a guy who wanted Misha to be his girlfriend and then cheat on him with me and then say his name, and it was a whole script.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn, bro. I was like, we got to charge you a lot for this. He wasn't trying to pay what we were charging. Yeah. He's like, not for that.
Well, in the fetish world, because we double dip, we hit both sides of it. Like, that's where a lot of the money comes from too, is like these customs, and it's impressive to say the least. Like, the amount of thought that these people will put into your scripts for your custom.
I would believe it.
And learning about all of these different other avenues for people. Like, it's more than even just sex. Like, there are people that, like, their video, their kink is, just seeing people getting tied up, or like, I mean, wrestling, or worshiping feet. Like, I mean, there's so many different things out there, and this stuff, like being a fetish con, for example, has, like, really opened our eyes to a lot of that.
That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm gonna be honest, because we've never been to FetCon. So
really,
yeah, we've never been. This is gonna be our first one. So for me, it's gonna be super big because I felt like when we first got started in our lifestyle, we were swingers, and then we quickly moved into, like, the stag vixen hot wife life, and that happened out of necessity.
Yeah.
Because my wife wasn't getting satisfied, so we moved to, like, we're not just gonna be with hot couples anymore because it doesn't always work out. So we moved to single dudes, and it was like, okay, now you can have 5 single dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I realized when we switched over that it moved out of swinging, and hot wifing became more of a fetish.
Yeah.
In a sense that the cuckold, hot wife, your wife plays, I don't, was very taboo to the general swingers.
Right.
Like if you go to a regular swinger, like, hey, especially the husband.
Yeah.
If you go to the husband, like, hey, you're not gonna play tonight. It's just gonna be me. I'm gonna go get it in and have a good time. Most husbands are like, well, guess we not playing tonight then, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like yeah, babe, go have fun, have a good time.
Yeah.
And I realized that there was a little bit of a divide there, and the hot wife life fell into like a fetish side. Like it wasn't just a swinging thing. It was like, oh, you're a swinger, but you're a hot wife swinger. Oh, okay,
yeah.
All right.
And that's it's. Have you noticed that there is a lot of I don't know how to really word it, but basically people confuse hot wife and cuckolding
A lot.
Like they misuse. That was the term I was looking for.
Every
Because
time.
like a cuckold, there's like a humiliation aspect to it, as opposed to hot wifing, where it's I like seeing it happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So like I'm shooting my second scene for a company called Cuck Hunters, but it's actually really more hot wifing than cuck hunting. So our first one was with this dude Ace Biggs. He's another Cox model based out of Miami,
Okay.
and so the whole premise is a couple has a little talk and like they wanna spice things up, like want to see him get railed real good by like a big black dude like a BBC. And so like the husband watches and enjoys it, and then the cool thing is you get paid extra if you just like whip your dick out and start jerking off while they're shooting it.
Oh, that's the easy
So
thing.
yeah, I'm like, oh, you're gonna pay me more for that? Oh, okay.
Why not? Oh,
So
I'm typically doing that anyway, so I don't know.
right, yeah.
That's just icing on the cake.
Exactly.
So like we've had, I don't know, we haven't had too many like professional experiences as far as like on set where we're the talent.
Yeah.
We've been behind camera a lot,
Right.
and worked for companies like to help shoot different scenes and stuff because I'm pretty good with light. I have grip and lighting experience. I know a lot of
Nice.
stuff about that. So we've helped out doing things like that, but we've never been like working. We've done one paid shoot with Desperate Amateurs, but
Yeah.
outside of that, we haven't done a paid shoot.
Okay.
So we haven't broken our professional cherry yet.
Yeah.
So we're like waiting, and we're trying to figure out when the best time to do that, because for that exact situation, like we don't want to work for somebody that misrepresents our brand,
Yeah.
and like we don't, or misrepresents our brand.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. You may not be giving me the right directions, but I still know where you're going.
So yeah, we haven't done any for that very reason. We're like, we don't want to shoot a scene that goes viral and then everybody think that that's what we are, and that's not what we are. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like that's always been our biggest thing because we've done everything on our own.
Right.
Like our whole fan base started in 2010, 2012 around.
Well, I mean, you guys have been doing an incredible job. Like I said, like we had talked about, like with Mr. J and Daisy Fox, like they were the first ones that kind of took us, like right under their wing.
Yeah,
And one of the first people that they talked about was you guys.
that's lovely.
That
makes me
yeah,
feel
that
good.
is low. Like, but so you guys have been like this inspiration for us. Like we're gonna get to that level. Like we're gonna get to where Lupe and Micha want to talk to us. Like that's like fucking life goals type thing.
Man, I appreciate that because
So-
I feel I never really realized how far our reach is.
Yeah.
Because we're not on every scene. We're not in every picture. We don't rush out just because you got 1 million followers. Like we're good friends with Subgirl, right? But
Yeah.
you don't see us littered on their page. We don't jump in every photo. We don't do that. Like we try to make sure that we maintain a air of us. Like
Stay true to yourself, really.
Exactly.
Like that's like what we've been fortunate enough is that we don't change who we are to fit a role. Like you're gonna sorry, you're gonna make the role fit us.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
like that's just gonna make it that much more fun. And so like we're very versatile in how we'll try to come up with scripts and stuff like that. But the positive experience that most people get when they work with us is what gets our name out there. So like even though we're not at that level, like millions of followers or anything like that, like it's really cool that people talk and people say good things about us.
It feels good.
Yeah.
And it also lets you know that you're doing the right thing as far as like a content creator. Because there's a lot of couples out there, you're like, hey, That couple has a little. They got a little weird way of doing things,
Yeah.
you know. And I feel like I don't ever want to be known as a couple that has a weird way of doing things. Like I'm okay with being like, yeah, they're a good time. They handle business the right way. They get you the content, et cetera, et cetera. I don't ever want to be like, oh, Lupe and Mitra, man, you got to be careful when you go fuck with them, man. Yeah,
Right.
it's a little weird.
Yeah, I haven't heard that ever. So
So let me ask you a question. Before content, let's dive back. Let's take it back.
Okay. Way back machine.
How long? Yeah. How long have you and your wife been together?
So we will have our 19-year anniversary in December. We started dating. We got engaged very quick, but so we're right around 19 years where we met.
Okay, I like that. So me and my wife are about the same. We're going on 21 years.
Awesome.
Yeah. So you guys are like us in the sense that you have been around the block a couple times. So I'm assuming swinging. When did that start? Was that around year 9, year 7, year 9?
Yeah, actually, right around year 7. There was a more unique reasoning behind it as well, though. Like because I've been to, it was probably my second tour. I did an Iraq one and Afghanistan one. A lot of stuff really kind of messed with me, my head, and I was really disconnected from my family and from my partner, and so I knew that I couldn't provide that type of closeness, the intimacy that she needs, and I wanted to always make sure that part of her was fulfilled. Plus, this girl can go for fucking ever. Like, dude, sometimes like I need someone to like
tag
in. I'm gonna go make a sandwich, maybe do some stretches.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I live that life sometimes. I know what you mean. You're like, damn, bro, you ain't done?
Yeah.
You got more?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta call somebody.
Exactly. I'm like, you know what? Let me just take a pill. I'll go to sleep, and you just do what you have to do.
Exactly.
Like,
it'd be like that. So, I commend you, right? And the reason I commend you is because everybody's road to the lifestyle is different.
Yes.
And it's typically paved with a little bit of adversity, a lot of compassion, and the exquisite ability to take your needs and put them second.
Yeah.
And put the person who you claim to love and want to be with forever, put their needs in front of yours.
Right. And I mean, but isn't that part of what makes a marriage work?
I definitely think it is. I think that part right there is a part that's lost with a lot of people who get married nowadays, because people think that getting married is about them when really getting married is about us.
Yes.
And when I say get married is about us, I mean that you actively decide when you get married to someone and commit to that person that you are no longer the most important person in the room.
Right.
And that's a mutual feeling on both sides. So therefore, the wife can look at the husband and say, I'm willing to go as far as I need to go for this man. It doesn't matter. My body, my mind, my mouth, my butthole, my feet, my toes, that all belongs to him, right?
Yep.
And the same thing when it comes to the husband. All of those things belong to her, you know? And when you make that exchange and say, okay, we're here, we're going to mold into one. Now, you have to truly be willing to sometimes say, okay, my ego has to be sacrificed in order for our relationship to move forward, because there are some things that I can't do.
Totally.
And if I can't do them, I'm not too much of a man and too much of an asshole to be like, oh, well, because I can't do them, you just can't have them.
You're stuck with me, bitch.
Exactly. No, that's not it. You know what I mean? And I think people see from the outside looking in and like, first thing I always hear from especially my vanilla friends is, I can never do that, bro. Like, I can never share my girl. And I always say, I have a relationship that is 18 times longer than your 1 year relationships.
Right.
So of course you've never developed the intimacy, you've never developed the trust, you haven't developed all of the communication things that need to be done, you haven't developed the honesty, the loyalty, you haven't developed any of that within the first 2 to 3 years. It's not till year 7 or 8 when you're getting to that toxic point where you're sick of this person, things are either going left or right. Some people are like, in year 7 it's a peak, they start just want to explore and have a good time, they're closer than ever. Some people gets a little rocky. And either way, you end up closer if you make it through that rocky phase, or that's when people start getting the itch to either cheat, divorce, whatever happens. But that year 7 to 10 is big. Those 3s are big.
Totally.
And I feel like people don't get to those years and go, let me put myself second.
Yeah.
Like, let me see if my husband, I love my husband loves me. Let me look at this man and give him what he needs. I love my wife loves me. Let me look at this woman and give her what she needs.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that you did and you were able, especially I know with the military and going to Afghanistan, my dad did a tour in Afghanistan and a tour in Qatar, and that's not, I know he didn't see nearly the brutality that you saw. So at the end of the day, I know that that does take a mental toll, and you having that take a mental toll on you, and then still being able to come home and be a husband and be a partner and say, hey, I love you and I got you. Still, I still got you.
Absolutely.
Even if I don't got you, I got you.
Yeah.
And that's commendable, because I don't think enough guys get to hear that side. Like, it's okay
Totally.
to be vulnerable and open up your marriage when you know that you're doing the best you can, and your wife knows that too.
Yeah. Well, it's a struggle too, because like, at least in the era that we were brought up, you know, like, you don't talk about your problems. You have to be steadfast and stoic, and you know, just push through, and that's just gonna give you an ulcer and an early grave. Like, that's not a healthy way to go.
Hell no.
I mean, in my opinion, I'm not a doctor, but
no,
you know.
but I mean, I'm gonna say, in my opinion, as a man, I agree. Being in a relationship for 20 years, you can't be hard all 20 years, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you can't.
And like, if we want to even go the argument of like, well, if you're not a man, like, what's more manly, being secure enough in yourself to allow something like that to happen, and know and trust that they're not leaving you, like, to accept that love and to really believe in it and have that faith, you know, like, that's way stronger than trying to be controlling or trying to be, you know, that like, I'm the head of this family and this is the only way that we're going to do this. And it's like, no, dude, like,
That's not the only way we're
no. And even in the earlier years, like, as much as like, you know, women were what they used to see, like, seen, not heard, but let's both be honest, low key, women still ran that shit.
Fuck yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like, that's why there's those sayings that have withstood the test of time. You know, if mama ain't happy, you ain't happy. Like,
And it is the truth.
that's not something within the new sexual revolution era. Like, that was years and years ago.
Yeah, and I think this day and age, a lot of people have lost sight of that exact thing. Like, it's become such a race to show that you've made it, and women have become a status of making it.
Right.
Like, oh, your girl's fine as hell. That means, oh, he made it. Yo, he got a baddie. He know. And that's not what it is. I feel like the ultimate flex is to be like, I have a healthy relationship that works for me in my mental space. And I found a person that can operate in the same love zone that I'm operating in. And we can go out and be productive and create a happy family and a happy ecosystem. And we're not out here angry or upset every time somebody cuts us off and on level 10. Like, I think that the world needs more people that are in that kind of headspace, and we'll have a better version of America, a better version of the world. You know?
Absolutely. When people realize that everybody is people, that's when things will start to actually work. Like, one of my big things is, like, everybody seems to always want to get even. That's not a thing. Like, you never actually get even, because everybody wants to one up each other. So it's like, okay, well, now we're even. Yeah. No, motherfucker, now we're even. And then, you know, like,
it never gets even.
Exactly.
Even is never
exactly
there. And that's the same thing in relationships.
Yeah.
Because I've had friends that, like you said, her level of sexual aggression may be a little higher than yours.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And her appetite may be a little bigger than yours.
100%.
That ain't even. And there ain't nothing we can do about it, okay? When
not
he's
a damn
done,
thing. It's,
and he's done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
I think that you have to be a super masculine man to be like, all right, look, all right, I know that I'm done. She's not done. And there's nothing under the sun that she loves more than me, but she needs to go get more than me.
Yeah. A little more strange.
A little more strange, exactly. Don't bring nothing home. Come have a good time. Don't bring nothing home. So let me ask you, when was the time when you guys, like, what was the first time like? What was the first lifestyle time like?
So, okay, so we were, let's just say, like, we didn't exactly have, like, say, a couple to kind of take us under their wing and kind of help us learn the ropes and how to do it. So we were figuring it out as we go, and it was not always the best for quite a few years.
Gotcha.
You know, like, we'd have like a girl over and stuff, but it was like, there was a hard limit, was like no penetration on her for me. Yeah. Which, I mean, realistically, again, I didn't have the strength barely for her, let alone throw another one in the mix.
I know. People think threesomes are great.
To the party. Like,
people think that shit until you're the only one at the party, bro, surrounded by a bunch of hungry vagina. You're like, oh shit.
Oh yeah. Well, and then it took a while before she was comfortable enough to where like we could have another man in an evening.
Yeah.
Like I was it was actually when we were stationed in Korea, and the dude that I was replacing for the unit, like we were hanging out one night at our apartment there, and we were just drinking and shooting the shit, and he and his wife ran a lifestyle, but he did a dependent restricted tour, so he only did 1 year in Korea.
Okay, gotcha.
So we're sitting there talking one night and drinking, and then I was like, dude, like I love how we vibe. Like I think you and Jasmine seem to really take it off, hit it off really well. Like I wonder if there's a way that we could talk about broaching the topic of doing like an MFM threesome.
Yeah.
And dude just like beeline to her in the other room, was like, "Hey, JR wants us to do a threesome." I'm like, "No, dude,
That's not what I wanted you to do.
Motherfucker, what do you... Yeah.
Code red, nigga.
Let me tell you, this girl said yes faster than any other question I've ever asked her in my life.
Did you hear the yes after he said it while you were freaking out?
Yeah.
And then you were like, snap back like, wait, what?
Oh, okay.
All right, here we go.
And like there was, I won't lie, like a little bit of a insecure moment. I'm like, damn, you agreed to that fast.
Oh, yeah, like shit. It took me months to get this chick in here, and that's
so. But I mean, no, it was great. I mean, there were a few setbacks. Like,
hold on. Did you hit her with how we gonna do this without penetration?
Well, nah, man.
Got to get even out here.
Yeah, see, and exactly like, what was the point? Well, that would have done nothing but cause more friction.
Exactly,
for that
it wouldn't have worked. That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. You did it right every time.
Exactly. Well, so this was both of ours first time doing like a threesome with another dude, and I was not fully prepared mentally to like say have a dude so close to me in such an intimate setting. So like there was one point where so Jasmine was sucking my dick and he was eating her out, and then he was getting ready to start hitting a doggy style. And then he was a taller dude, so dude leans over like her head here, my dick here, his head right here, and he's like, "Dude, thank you so much for this. Thank you so much for inviting me to do this.
This is not the time to talk, bro."
And yeah, like his head is just this close to my junk, and I'm like, nope. It's like, what the fuck? I'm like, and then of course, you get into your head, you're like, what the fuck are you doing?
He's like, I've never seen this before.
Yeah. Why is he so close to me? Is he gonna do what you think he's gonna do? No. It just like, but so. That took a little bit of getting used to, like.
I remember. So our first time, it was with my best friend, and it's funny because he's like we were doing our thing, and like there was a degree of separation there.
Yeah.
So we were like on the bed, but we were like,
Yeah.
And I remember at one point, there's a point where you make eye contact, and you're like. Boom. So I made eye contact, and he just was like, and gave me the like Walmart head nod, and I'm like, okay, well I guess that works. Right. We just kept going. I just remember when it was my turn, like to fuck her, because we like switched back and forth, and I came, and I remember I came like 2 minutes in. I was like, oh my god, I came so fast. I came so fast, and then I was like, I'm gonna go get a drink, because like after you come, what do? You just sit there, like, what am I doing? Just like. And she's over here not paying any attention to me.
No, at this point,
taken down. I'm like,
fuck yeah.
I'm like, damn, bro, like my nigga's taking her down. All right, I gotta go. So I go get a beer. I remember I grabbed a Corona, and I remember I'm leaned up on the door. Have you seen Lucky Number 11?
No, I have not seen that movie.
So there's one part in the movie where he comes home and his girl is getting like dicked down by somebody else, and he just like stands in the door. And I just had that moment. I'm just standing there with a beer in my hand, just like watching, and like I remember the mixed range of emotions, just of like. Jealousy, and then horny, then angry, then like just like peaceful. Like I can see her face; she's having a good time.
Yes,
and
dude. I'm so happy to hear someone else tell a story similar to that, because like even that, like I just like I thought I was the only one.
No,
like,
it's like you go through a range of like I hate when people say, "Oh no, I've been into it since the very beginning." That's not true because the first time, as much as it's a fantasy, the first time you realize it's fantasy, you also have to realize that your wife is technically enjoying the fuck out of somebody else.
Yeah.
Right? And as much as you've seen it online and seen other guys do it, so you know it's possible, it still doesn't hit you until you're in the moment. Right? And your dick either responds with go or no. Right? And either way, your mind has already said that this is hot. Yeah. It's just your body hasn't caught up with it because this is foreign. Yeah. And it's foreign to see her in that pleasure zone with somebody else. You know, like, it takes a learning curve. But here's the best thing about it. The part that I think is the part that's insane, and every person does this, is the sex after your first threesome with another guy. Yeah. With your girl is the most intense reconnective sex. It's almost like she snaps back. Mm-hmm. And when she snaps back, she can't focus on anything else. She doesn't want you to leave. She doesn't want you to go anywhere. Mm-hmm. She wants you to be right there, fucking her for as long as you can. And then when you're done, cuddle her, and it's, don't go anywhere. Like, because it's also like we only see her getting pleasure, but we don't know the mental struggle she's having while she's getting dick down, because she's like, oh my God, am I moaning too loud? This makes me feel so good. She's trying not to be in a too good of mode because whatever the situation is, or
because we all have those insecurities, so like I know the first time that like her and like we had another female in the bed, and like the same deal. I'm just like, okay, do I make, hold on, am I making too many noises? Am I saying oh fuck yes like too many times? Like
exactly.
But the part that, and I think you mentioned it earlier, like the part that after all of those different thoughts and emotions, seeing her face, seeing that just total surrender to pleasure and like that just made everything like, this is what it's about,
every bit of it.
Exactly.
Every fucking bit of it. And I think that pleasure face and then the reclaiming afterwards and the sex after are like the thing that makes it all worth it. And I can honestly say, being in a lifestyle now for more than 13 years, that you really, 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 after you have a really good night of playing, you really reconnect the next day. The next day is like floating on a cloud. You know what I mean? Like you're up, breakfast is up. Ready. Like coffee is being made, the birds are chirping. You know what I mean? It could be a rainy day outside, but it's beautiful for you.
Absolutely.
So it's a lot more than just in that moment. Right. So let me ask you a question. What is the wildest time that you've had, lifestyle or content, that like kind of lets you know like, motherfucker, we made it. We here. This is it. Like, I just had some friends go to Cape Diog. Yeah. And he came back and his wife came back and they called me and they said, listen, for you and your wife, this is the place to be. Mm. They were like, you will have unlimited access to beautiful people. Yeah. And there's 200,000 swingers.
Jesus.
That descend on this town in France. And he's like, you have to go. He's like, they have so many different things going on, from the swingers clubs to you walking. He said within a 5 to 7 minute walk from the club to his hotel, he said he saw at least 30 people having sex in different variations. So there was a couple having sex on a bench. There was a woman having like a blow bang. She was on her knees with a bunch of guys around her. There was 2 or 3 girls and a guy over here doing something else. And he's like on the way back to the hotel room in like these little cuts. He's like, that's all you see.
Oh, that's crazy.
He's like, it's insane. You go on the beach and it's 10,000 people naked on the beach. Yeah. And the videos that you see online of those gigantic blow bangs on the beach, this is the beach that those take place on.
Oh, no shit.
So they have this area called the Dunes, and that's where all of the like sexual escapades take place. And they record it, they get wild. Those same group of guys are at the clubs, and they have different clubs. Like, some clubs are just couples only. Some clubs are free for all. So it's all in this self-contained village that has a humongous wall on it that's connected to the ocean.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I think it's called Cape Diagda or something like that. Is the way to say it, or something like that. But yeah, it's in France. So next year we're going.
Nice.
So if you guys wouldn't mind to tag along.
We can definitely put that as a bucket list thing.
That is definitely a fucking list thing because it's gonna. I trust this person. He knows me intimately. So
kind of an interesting. So we have a little bit of a different dynamic in general, and it's I just like because so many of our years at the beginning of entering the lifestyle were not really done right, so to speak. We're the way I introduce ourselves, like when we're meeting other swinger couples and stuff, like I say, like, believe it or not, we're like the prudest swinger couples you'll ever meet. Like I still have like a lot of anxiety issues. So like the simple fact of an orgy gets my mind going a million different ways. And like, I don't know that I'm even comfortable enough yet. Like
to do something like that.
Yeah. Like, I just, cause so my love language is, acts of service and, affirmation.
Gotcha.
And so like, I'm a people pleaser, and the thought that like, I may not be equally paying enough attention to female parties involved. And of course, the primary, which is her, like it terrifies me to try to think about all of those mental gymnastics incorporated with that. Like,
I'm not mad at you for that.
Like when we shoot, let's say like we're shooting a gangbang or something, like it's basically scripted. Like we kind of already know how things are going, how things are working. It's not as, I don't want to say passionate because we still bring like a level of passion to when we shoot.
Of course.
But there's just not that spontaneity, so to speak, that spontaneous sexual combustion.
Gotcha.
Like we've had that with a couple before, like our first couple that we ever just like 100% full swap type thing. Mm-hmm. So that was like really a cool moment for us because it was just like, it was the first time that we connected on that level to where like we initially planned on we were just going to meet, have dinner, hang out, and then, go our separate ways. After dinner, and then we ended up going to one of the sex shops over in Atlanta. Was it Tokyo Valentina? Is that the one? Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is cool. So like we're looking around at all different stuff, and then the girls pick out a double-ended dildo, and I was like, the one that they picked out was massive.
Oh shit!
And so I'm just like, God damn! Like I'm like, hey, well, ladies, what about this little thing? How about we
trying
start
to downsize?
smaller? Yeah,
they like, nah, we know what we want.
Yeah, they're like, no. This fucking elephant shit, like this is what we need right now.
Facts.
I'm like, God damn. So
here we go, Alice.
So I'm like, oh, is this really? I guess this is really happening. So we get so after that, and then we go and actually stop at a bakery, like a late night bakery, and have some dessert and coffee. Okay. We go back to the hotel. We start hanging out, and then the girls start playing around, and we're like taking our little pictures and shit, and it just kind of started going from there, from parallel play to cross play to full swap, and it was so beautiful.
It was seamless. It sounds
doing
like.
it, yeah. Like there was not really like any awkward moments or anything, and then I was actually towards the end after I came. He and Jasmine, of course, were still going.
Yeah.
And like it was an awesome moment. Like I was just on the bed cuddling with the other wife, and we were just like entranced watching our partners
having a good time. I think that part. So like we said earlier, it's not always equal, and I think that the lifestyle provides you an opportunity to allow your partner to not be equal without destroying you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I have a long amount of stamina, especially if I'm like in my vibe and it's a lifestyle thing. There's not a lot of cameras. I don't have to worry about busting at a certain time. Like I can go for pretty much as long as I want. As long as my basketball stamina will hold the fuck out, my dick will keep riding with me. So
yeah.
I'm like, my wife will tell you sometimes, she's like, look, I can keep up because of years of you know, us fucking the way we do and fucking the way you do. So fucking a bunch of guys, you know, typically is easy because guys don't all fuck like you.
Yeah.
So she's like, but sitting in a room fucking you for an hour and a half, that's fucking work.
Yeah.
She's like, you are trying to play one-on-one with me, and I'm not trying to play. Whenever we meet a couple and the wife is like, yeah, I typically like to go for a while. She's like, yes.
Yeah.
She's like, okay. So here's what's gonna happen. I'm like, thanks, babe.
Yeah.
But that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's got to be the perfect. That's like a perfect story. Like that's a perfect way to like to have the correct entry into lifestyle.
Yeah. So I hope that kind of like, even though it's not nearly as, you know, rambunctious and you know, large scale, like you were asking the question and giving the example of, I hope that at least kind of answered that.
But no, it did.
Like,
It's like that was your most like wild aha moment that I made.
Yeah.
Like I'm here.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
we're
yeah.
in the lifestyle. This is how it's supposed to go. Like, and that's exactly what I asked for. It doesn't have to be like, you didn't have to fuck a monkey or anything like that.
Well, no,
you know
but
what I
like
mean?
you're like the most wild, and then you go onto this whole tangent of like 100,000 couples, all just like one giant orgy. And
Don't worry, I would love for you to come to that. I want y'all to come out. Your anxiety won't have to be that strong because there's so many people. There's no physical way you're gonna. Like it's just gonna be lit. I'm inviting everybody. I want it to be like a big group of American swingers that show up.
Yeah.
Because they're not like here.
Yeah.
Where you can't record you can record on the beach.
Yeah.
You can record in certain places. Like you can take pictures. Like they're not gonna be like, oh no, you can't take pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, so.
Yeah.
I want all y'all to come.
Fuck yeah, dude. I'm down. This is the one that you that has the final say in that.
I already know. I'm not worried. I already know. Listen.
You got that confidence. I like it. Oh, look at it. She's like.
I was gonna say when
like,
she's about to be on this next, so we're gonna talk a little bit about that because I peeped her smile when she was listening to us. She was like, oh, what is 200,000? You say?
Yeah.
Wild times on the beach. You say? Well, we'll get there.
What was that famous quote? I regret that I only have two hands to put on different dicks.
Is that her quote? Was that her quote?
Yeah, like if she had like them octopus hands, you know, like 8 of them, like
tentacles
just
everywhere,
like everywhere, just like
We're digging into that next.
Yeah.
On the next episode of STAGVIEW.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you, JR, as a solo performer by yourself, what's next for you? Like, what do you want to see? Because as Lupe, I'm here doing the STAGVIEW thing. What do you have next for JR that's independent of jazz?
Okay, so we have So I have a few different series that I'm trying to start, and that's really more of what I want to do is like create like different series for my own little store, and kind of really going into this my whole brand that I've built for myself, this whole Mr. Sexy Buns persona. There's just a bunch of different ways about it. So like we talked about the cooking competition thing, and then just I have a bunch of different other scenarios that I like doing, and sometimes, you know, like she'll hold camera for them if we need to, which is awesome, obviously. So and if I ever get a little bit like anxious or, you know, it's starting to, she's over there like tits out, like rubbing herself,
like making it easy.
See,
that's,
I'm like,
yo, wifey is always
she is
the
a
best
fucking ride or
woman.
die,
bro,
for real.
so
Like
fire.
you can't there is nothing that can replace that.
Hell no.
You know? But yeah, so like the Chef Sexy Buns cooking competition.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah. I have a character that I use in our fetish stuff. So like I do a lot of fetish and wrestling and things like that. So we've got that stuff on the horizon, building those stores and those brands. But he's going to be one of the first crossovers, where basically he's called Nerdy Buns.
And, you know, he has, like, his stuff gets yanked up, his pants are all the way up here. And in the fetish world, I just get, like, beat up and bullied by all these hot women. You know, they're pulling my underwear over my head and, you know, like, throwing me down or making me do all these things I don't want to do. But, you know, I do what I have to do to survive.
Oh, my God. I can't wait.
So we're going to cross over Nerdy Buns. So it's going to be Nerdy Buns Equipment Manager. So, like, I'll be the equipment manager for, you know, women's volleyball team or field hockey or whatever. And so it'll be a whole reverse gangbang series.
Gotcha. And all they're doing is like beating up on you basically.
Well, no. So for the porn side of things, it's going to be like they first they're all like, look at that nerdy guy over there, and I'll have like, you know, tight pants but still like pulled all the way up, but I'll have like, you know, my boner already fucking going and shit. So it's like they'll be like, oh, look at him over there, what a nerd, what a loser. And then another one interjects like, well, yeah, but like look what he's packing with.
There you
Like,
go.
Girls, I think we need to see what he's about, you know. And then it like fades to black and then opens back, you know. Then they're all like talking to me and like kind of convincing me to go back to wherever they, you know, whatever we pick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then it turns into like a reverse gangbang series.
Okay.
Yeah, like because even as a solo performer, I still like she's still there with me.
Of course.
So half the time we just kind of cameo in each other's stuff,
Which is always fun.
super fun. Like even if it's a role, like I'll let her talk about like the Dr. Hot Wife series, but anytime that it's not a couple or something, I cameo as whatever the dude is that's bringing them to their appointment to Dr. Hot Wife, the sex therapist.
Gotcha.
So like I've played the dad of Mega Drive.
Okay.
This actually Filipino talent out of New York.
Okay. I haven't seen it. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, he's a great dude. But so like
It's a him.
yeah.
Mega Drive. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So so I played him as he was my son, and I'm taking him to see Dr. Hot Wife because like he's not even going to college classes. He's like just jerking off in his room and shit, and like he never wants to leave his room.
Yeah.
So I bring him to her to try to help straighten him out so he can start, you know, doing better.
Gotcha.
You know. And so then I like, okay, you think you can help him? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. Okay, the session will be over in about an hour. And so I exit, and then that's when I actually pick up the camera and start recording. But so like that's that part of it.
That's fire.
You know,
That's fire.
We did one with Charles Newton where
Okay.
he was my star, my football quarterback, the star quarterback for for our college football team. I was Coach Dicka, and I'm the head coach of Wanna Fuck a U. You know, we're a smaller university, but we're still pretty strong.
I like it. I like
You know, so it was messing with the team's morale. He was like, he'd be in the huddle, and then he would just stop and whip his dick out and just start jerking off in the middle of practice, and it's destructive. It's not helping the team. So I need Dr. Hot Wife. I need you to fix him. You know, like I've got a bunch of different ones that we've done with that stuff. So like,
That's fire.
yeah, like it's fun. You know,
so
and like that's what we want out of our brands is to kind of have a little bit of our life, our actual life injected into it, but also just like make it sexy, but also kind of funny.
Yeah, which I'm not gonna lie, I think you guys do that shit perfectly.
Thank you.
Like perfectly. Like ever since I met you guys at Exotica and you were wearing that apron with your buns out, I was like, yo, this couple is lit.
Thank you.
It was X-Biz. I'm sorry, X-Biz.
Yes, that's right. That's when it was.
X-Biz. I keep saying Exotica, just plugging the shit out of Exotica for no reason.
Right? Like Exotica has its merits. Like,
It
you know,
does.
seeing your fans, giving them the opportunity to like interact with you and stuff, get their photos.
Yep.
Like that's great. And that like it almost kind of helps validate you in one way that like people are actually out there watching you and wanting to see more.
Facts.
XBiz was so cool on more of a content creator side, on the actual business aspect.
Yeah.
You know, and then that's a different validation when like the people that you look up to are like acknowledging you and showing you love because you're out there grinding.
Hell yeah, doing it.
You know?
Killing it.
Exactly. And then seeing people like exchanging all of their ideas. There's very minimal amounts of gatekeeping out there. Like everybody seems to generally want everyone to succeed.
Yeah, everybody wants everyone to win.
Exactly.
It's this team.
Which you
SW.
don't get in like really any other aspect of life that I've seen.
Facts. I mean,
I know.
I agree with that. Lifestyle and sex workers, they generally want you to move forward.
Yeah.
Because it's moving the industry forward. Every person who wins bigger and bigger and bigger, it moves the industry forward and forward and forward to a more mainstream line of work.
Exactly.
And I think we all want that. We just want to be able to work the way we work without anybody talking shit. We don't talk shit about anybody else's job.
Yeah.
So same thing.
Exactly.
Got it. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. Like it's an absolute pleasure to be meeting you and spending some time with you, man.
Hey, man, you making me blush. I'm going to turn purple out here.
I like it.
All right. All right. It's Lupe
And JR Cruz.
and JR Cruz. Where can they find you at?
So my main website, MrSexyBuns.com, MR instead of actually Mr. spelled out.
Gotcha.
And that's where it'll go right to my bio. So you can see all the links in there. I'm JR_Cruz 2020 on Twitter.
Got it.
My OnlyFans is JR Cruz 2020, just without the underscore. Everything else, like I said, you can see that on the website. But
Mr. Sexy Buns.
yeah,
With the MR.
Yeah.
All right. You got it. Mr. Sexy Buns and JR Cruz 2020, man. Y'all go check them out. It's another episode of STAGVIEW in the books, and see you guys again soon. Peace.